Hello, welcome to Instant Insights, a strategic intelligence podcast. At Global Data Strategic Intelligence, we track over 100 tech, industry, ESG, and macro themes impacting all major sectors. I'm Thomas Pothalingam, and today we're discussing ESG trends in 2025. Today, we're diving into ESG related trends and predictions for 2025. ESG has changed substantially over time with the emergence and improvement of sustainable technologies. The appetite for ESG agendas changed dramatically with the changing political makeup of the world. Given this changeability, it is even more essential for companies to be aware of what they must contend with or face the consequences. We'll be joined by a few of our analysts today, Sophie, Gallagher, Aidan, and Nimrah Sharif from the Strategic Intelligence team, to hear what they have to say about ESG in 2025.
Hi, Nimrah. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. So, ESG continues to navigate difficult waters with stark differences in approaches and attitudes to the agendas and behavioral changes it proposes. So, what is the status of ESG going into 2025?
Tom, as it stands, the US has a strong anti-ESG movement, which is impacting companies in various industries. And this is currently led by politicians in the Republican Party and lots of big investors. This movement criticizes or rejects the emphasis on ESG factors in decision making and encourages the return of judging companies based off financial performance rather than ESG considerations. So far, companies like Microsoft, Google, Zoom, and even Meta fired their internal D&I teams as a result of this. And even Goldman Sachs, for example, have left the Net Zero Banking Alliance due to some of that pressure. In the new year, we can expect that some of these US-based companies will unravel their ESG commitments, with the mounting pressure that companies face. And in the EU, however, we don't see the same level of pushback that we see in the US, so that there's something to monitor there. But in summary, ESG as a term has been part of a culture war in the US and a political hot potato, if you will. But as it stands, it's still a topical issue that businesses and regulators really care about. Just because firms aren't tactically retreating from ESG, this doesn't mean that the movement won't continue on both sides of the Atlantic. It just might be phrased under different labels.
It's good to hear that ESG will remain a key issue for companies going forward. What do you think we should expect under Trump's new administration?
So in Trump's campaign trail, we saw a lot about him citing everything from diversity targets to carbon footprints as part of a role, something that he wants to roll back, and also what he defines as the anti-business agenda. And so we can see already that he's rolling back on the Paris Agreement, or that there's a will there, and the US will ultimately cede climate leadership on the global stage to China. And it will also be a blow to a lot of developing countries urgently lobbying for speedy global climate finance action. And also, Trump's nominee to lead the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, is Lee Zeldin, a former member of Congress. And he used to be a lawyer, but doesn't really have much climate or environmental experience. So we can see that he may prioritize unleashing economic prosperity through the EPA, and he might pursue energy dominance, but a focus towards oil and gas. And as you know, that's a hit for the climate activists. And the current SEC chair, Gary Gensler, is stepping down, and it's unclear what this means for the climate disclosure rules that are currently facing legal challenges in US courts. So overall, I think Trump is unlikely to fully undo Biden's Inflation Reduction Act, signed in August 2022. And ultimately that served to provide 20 tax breaks for energy transition technologies. And what we might see is that he will likely tweak the RAA to favor carbon capture and storage over renewable energy, and more vulnerable parts of the RAA to roll back, maybe EVs and energy efficient products.
Thank you, Nimrah. That was really informative. Hi, Aidan. How are you?
Good, thanks, Tom. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. So, key issue for all sustainability initiatives and ESG more broadly is the green transition's feasibility and the availability of low carbon resources. These conditions are predicated on the supply of critical minerals. Given this, how are net zero targets affecting critical mineral demand?
Yeah, so they're massively affecting critical demand. Electric vehicles, solar panels, nuclear reactors, and wind farms require minerals that face monopolization, short supply, and rapid depletion. Global data in the wider mining community categorize lithium, copper, nickel, cobalt, and rare earth elements, or known as REEs, as the most critical minerals to this kind of production. With over 107 nations adopting net zero targets, demand for energy transition technologies and the critical minerals needed to create them is skyrocketed. The demand for lithium, the principal mineral used in the electric car vehicle batteries, rose massively at the start of the decade, especially in 2021 and 2022. While lithium prices have fallen off in recent months, production is expected to increase to 550,000 tons by 2030. Net zero targets combined with China banning the exports of RE extraction technology in December of 2023 result in a volatile mineral market for the years to come.
Low carbon industry is also an essential part of the transition to a greener world, and the extraction of critical minerals comes with complications. Is critical mineral extraction moving towards ESG compliance?
While mining companies are moving towards clean energy and are publishing annual sustainability reports, there are cases where mineral extraction neglects the local workers and communities. Critical minerals are mainly found in countries with lax ESG regulations, such as Indonesia and the DRC. This is echoed by the Business and Human Rights Resources Center's report, where 631 allegations of human rights abuses were found in mining sites from 2010 to 2023. Indigenous communities lack the proper resources and representation to improve working conditions, as countries often try to keep workplace regulation as light as possible to seek external investment. Local environments also suffer. An example of this is the high water consumption of lithium brine extraction, which has exacerbated droughts in the desert environs of the Lithium Triangle, as it requires around 500,000 tons of water per ton of lithium extracted. This has led to the Chilean government to enforce more environmentally friendly direct lithium extraction. However, without government intervention, companies will not adopt ESG policies where it interferes with their business practices.
Hi, Sophie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. So, companies must contend with difficult strategic decisions as they embed sustainable principles into their operations. It's especially difficult when they have complex operational needs. Given this, how are companies meeting their power demands while simultaneously reaching their climate targets?
So yes, companies such as Alphabet and Microsoft have ambitious climate targets, such as reaching net zero by 2030. This, coupled with rising energy demands from data centers, means that it's valuable for companies to have a variety of methods to reduce their emissions. One more recent method used by big tech to reduce both emissions and reach energy demands is by investing in the energy transition to nuclear power. So this includes deals such as Microsoft deciding to reopen the 3 Mile Island nuclear facility, whilst other big tech companies, including Amazon and Google, as well as data center companies Equinix and Standard Power, announcing power supply deals with providers using a slightly newer technology known as small modular reactors. So these SMRs are nuclear reactors with a slightly smaller capacity, and they're advantageous due to their portability, scalability, safety features, and lower initial costs. The Global Data Power Plants database shows that at current moment, only 3 SMRs are in operation globally, but there are another 279 at various stages in the pipeline.
It is fortunate that companies have a wide range of renewable and sustainable resources and technologies at their disposal to reduce their emissions and improve their ESG performance. What other technologies are being used to reduce the impacts of climate change?
So leading on from what Nimrah has mentioned on Trump tweaking the Inflation Reduction Act, or possibly due to big tech requiring a diverse range of methods to reach their climate targets, there have been numerous deals showing that the uptake of carbon capture. This may also be used by companies to offset carbon emissions where processes are challenging to decarbonize. Direct air capture, which filters carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, has seen deals between Google and Holocene, as well as Amazon and Microsoft partnering with 1.5. Other methods restoring nature through afforestation, reforestation, and revegetation. Google, Meta, Salesforce, and Microsoft have also formed a coalition to provide this. Another method is enhanced rock weathering, which involves spreading rock dust on land. And when rainwater mixes with the dust, the carbon dioxide in the rainwater is converted into minerals that are released into the soil.
Thank you very much for all these insights. You can find the Tech Predictions Report on our intelligence centers or on the Global Data Report store. Thanks for listening, and from us in Strategic Intelligence, see you next time.